This is Greg Troutwine with Maritime Reporter TV, and we're very pleased to be joined today by Anu Peippo, the Offshore Segment Director for Steerprop, to discuss her diverse background and responsibilities today with the company. So, Anu, to start us off, I know you have an interesting and diverse career history. Can you give me a career background with insights on when and why you decided to make yours a career in maritime?
It all started basically when I was under 10 years old. Uh, we were visiting my grandmother's friend who was working on a vessel that was transporting paper from Rauma, Finland to Germany. And she was working there as a stewardess. And then the little me back then was all impressed about the fact that there was a swimming pool in the vessel and the food was really, really good. So I think that was maybe the first idea started to grow already then. Uh, I also have some background in the family. Both of my grandfathers have sailed when they were young. The other one on a deck as an able-bodied seaman, and the other one in the engine room in the lower positions. And my grandmother actually had some pictures of my grandfather uh, that were these black and white beautiful pictures. He's like standing next to a really nice old car in Rio de Janeiro, and you can see in some of the pictures you can see the how is Sugarloaf Mountain on the background. Some pictures from Egypt with the pyramids, and then she always told me that yeah, those are from the days when he was sailing, and I'm like, okay, that sounds really interesting. And when it came to the point when I had to kind of make decisions where to go and study after high school, basically, then I also applied for the how do you call those? It's like University for Applied Sciences, and there you can choose the captain's degree to kind of go for. So then I got into the school for captain's class, and that's where it started.
Let's take a deeper dive into your experiences at sea. As it seems, like I said at the outset, you've had a diverse experience. When you look at your career, can you discuss some of the companies, some of the vessels, or the positions that you found to be most rewarding and gratifying?
Yeah, I started my career on the Finnish tankers. So we were transporting oil products, gas oil and gasoline, basically, from Finland to mainly to Europe, but also some more exotic destinations. The company was called Neste Shipping back then. Uh, it was a Finnish state-owned company, basically. It was a really good place to start because the oil companies have really high standards on the health and safety related regulate, so that you basically follow the regulation that is set up. So you learn how to do things properly when you are working for that kind of companies. And yeah, I got to see places reaching from China to Indonesia, um, most of the cities that have like tanks that you can discharge oil products into in Europe. I have probably visited. It was many years I was doing that, and I guess most exotic places would have been Greenland, several harbors there. It was really interesting, and then maybe in the Baltic Sea, there is this weird place called Kaliningrad, which is Russian territory, but it's not like attached to Russia, but it's its own entity. So I think that's a place where maybe not so many people have visited. Uh, but then, yeah, I'm always kind of I like the job there, but I'm always back then also looking for how to learn and grow professionally. And then the Norwegian companies were looking for crew members. And I sent my application to REM Offshore and got selected. So continued my career there as a second officer. and learned a lot again, because in the tankers it's mainly the captains who maneuver the vessel in the port and who do the final maneuvering to the quayside and all that. But when you go to the offshore vessels, they are in and out all the time from the harbors and also approaching the offshore installations. So there you kind of get the opportunity to learn maneuvering, and you get to do it a lot. So I really like that aspect. So you really get to drive the vessel, basically. And also the dynamic positioning was a new aspect for me, to be in control of the vessel when we are very, very close to the large offshore installations. So it was like, how you say, steep learning curve into that business. And I worked a lot in the North Sea. But then at some point the vessel I was working on back then got a job in Brazil. So then we took the vessel there, and also the crew nationalities changed at that point. So it was only minority of Nordic people anymore on board, and the majority was Brazilian, basically. So then again, already of course with Norwegians, I was learning in a way a new culture. But then again, when we went to Brazil, then it was even a bigger step to adjust into their way of working and doing things. And really nice people I got to meet and work with also in Brazil. And obviously the weather was much much nicer. So sun all year round. uh, I think there it's nice to see how relative, for example, temperature is, because when it was 20 degrees Celsius, which is for me a summer weather, for Brazilians it was winter weather, and they like put on their hats and the winter clothes, and I'm like, okay. This is a bit different. So from tankers to offshore vessels. And when I have familiarized myself in Brazil, for example, I was working as a chief officer. So then you kind of get to learn the routines of that job, and always learning more about the vessel operations and the business as well.
So what eventually brought you to shore?
Well, it was my daughters. So I have two girls. They are 12, and or the other one is turning 13 soon, and the other one is 10. And I went sailing after the first one was born. I was with her about 2 years, and then went back on board, and then got pregnant with the other one. And after she was born, I still went back on the vessels, but I was all the time searching for something ashore. And we had discussed with my husband that we would I would wait until I find something that is interesting for me. And then this opportunity arose when Rolls-Royce started a new unit in Turku, Finland, where we live nowadays. And it was ship intelligence that was focusing on the remote and autonomous solutions in the maritime domain. And I applied there, and I got the job as a maritime advisor in a way, because you need to think about the processes, how to do the remote operations. So I was kind of helping the teams to understand more about the real life on vessels, and how we could transfer it to the land-based centers.
Okay, so you come ashore and obviously now you're with Steerprop. Can you tell me a little bit about Steerprop? What attracted you to the position, and today specifically, what are your responsibilities?
Well, I'm from Rauma, Finland, a small city here in west coast of Finland, and Steerprop is actually founded there, and still the main office and assembly is in Rauma. And I had never actually heard about the company until I was on my very last vessel that I worked for. And this vessel had Steerprop units, and I'm new there on the vessel and reading all the manuals and seeing what's the vessel about, and then I'm like, Steerprop, what is this company? And then I read Rauma. Oh. And then I kind of got interested, and I was following the company after that, and every now and then looking at their website and what's going on, and noticed that there was some change. They had a new CEO, and you could see it in the, how it, what kind of visual message and how the brand looked like, and all these. And then it was time for me to see some other or point of time when I had to look for another job. And then I just thought, well, I'll give them a call and see if they have a need for my kind of expertise. And I had been in these more expert jobs, but then I had also gotten a little bit to see how sales related jobs are, and I thought that I would maybe rather jump into the sales side of things. And then Steerprop was actually looking for people to their sales team, and that's where I am today. Like you said in the beginning, the Offshore Segment Director. And what that then means is that I do the planning. What are our sales activities in that segment? Steerprop also has Arctic segment, tug and work boats, and then ferry and cruise vessels. And those all have their own people taking care of them. So I'm concentrating in what's going on in the offshore, and basically, of course, renewable vessels and then other special vessels, and planning where we are attending, of course, together with marketing to see where we should go and be visible and meet customers, live meetings and via Teams, of course, nowadays, which is very common as well. Talk to our product development whenever we have something interesting we are hearing from our customers, because Steerprop is quite adaptive to customer requirements, for example. So keep the dialogue going on with the other departments inside Steerprop.
When you look back at your time at sea, how has that experience directly impacted your career today?
I think it gives me some kind of trust in myself. I've been through uh, bad weathers, like all the sailors, but when you are maneuvering a vessel into the quay when it's really windy and the sea is rough, it gives you quite a lot of self-confidence. It's like, okay, I did this. Then when you are in shore, you always think that I can't mess up so badly what I could have done with the vessels. And on top of that, I have given birth to two daughters, so I'm unstoppable now.
When you look at the offshore market today, I guess, can you talk about the products and services that are offered from Steerprop? And specifically, what are the drivers that you are seeing that kind of drive your product in your development and your deliveries today?
So we are experts in azimuth propulsion. That's propulsion for vessels that require high maneuverability, basically. So that's what we are selling. And also that's these maneuvering thrusters. You can talk about tunnel thrusters and retractables. We also do those. So we can deliver the full scope for the vessels looking for high maneuverability. And the drivers, our customers are interested in the environmental footprint that their vessels are making. And of course, we want to enable the lowest possible CO2 footprint for the vessels. So what we can do as a Steerprop is to make as energy efficient propulsors as possible. And that's what we are doing. Uh, Other drivers, of course, are reliability. The vessel owners want this increased operability, and we can also offer, you know, some are interested in increased dry docking intervals, so the vessel doesn't have to go to dry dock that often. Normally they go every 5 years, but we can, if there's a requirement, we can go up to 7.5 years or even 10 years if there is interest. So these are the things, it's always very uh, dependent on the customer, of course, but we facilitate whatever is needed.
We talk about through everything that we do today about workforce development, that next generation, whether it be on vessels, whether it be shoreside, just the careers in maritime. So if you had a bit of advice to the young men and women considering a career in maritime today, what would it be?
I think go for it. It's a great way to one, see the world, learn about yourself, because you are alone, a lot. You need to be ready with your own thoughts and all that. It's a great way to grow, and it gives a great background for future jobs also in the shore. Of course, you can always go all the way and until your retirement in the vessels. That's great as well, but it also prepares you for these very different kind of jobs in the shore.